It's time! It is time. I am just going to pop my comments up in the group. I can see comments, but I can't see who makes the comments. So I just want to make sure I have this up here. Awesome, awesome. So here's the deal. If you were here about an hour ago, I could not wait. I was super excited, and I actually went through the pretest with some of you to give you a little bit of a taste for what you are going to learn tonight. So if you watched that earlier, you are probably super excited to find out exactly what the answers are. So hey, Joanne and Lindsay and Diane and Brenda. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. And Carol, I am so excited about tonight. And Raven, hello. And Jill, so excited. So this is the very first time. Hey, Nita and Annette. Very first time I've ever taught this class live. First time. And hey, Sarah and Diane and Sharon. I've never revealed Module 1 to the public. So there's another new thing. So you guys are actually getting access to what thousands of students have actually paid for. This is Module 1. And another new thing is I've never done slides before, except once when I taught at a conference. But I've never done this in the class like this. So I've given the basics a whole new refresh, and I'm really excited to see. Hey, Raquel and Susan and Anna and Lexi, really excited to see what the retention is. Meaning, how many of you, when I teach this new way, are more excited to stick the whole way through the course and to graduate, and how much easier is this way of teaching going to be for you as far as you remembering things? So I'm really excited about this. Hey, Lee and Stephanie and Jeannie and Robin, I am so excited. So I don't want a huge drawn out intro because for replay viewers, it's super boring, but I just wanted to set up a couple of things. So I have no idea how long this is going to be, number one, because I've never taught these slides before and I didn't do any test runs. This is the test run because those of you who have bought access to the Essential Oil Safety Training for MLMs, you guys are going to get the full course experience on Thursday. So I saw a question. Hey, Miranda and Diana and Teresa and Joy and Liliana. I saw a question asking about the workbook from Brenda, who purchased VIP access. And the workbook is for all VIPers starting on Thursday. This is sort of kind of a test run. There's not going to be a pre-test today. There's not going to be a workbook today. So just listen and take notes. But stay tuned because you will receive an email from me probably tonight even, because I was this close. I actually finished the membership and I was going to email everybody, but I ran out of time. You will have access to, if you purchase access to the full program, you will have access to all of the slides that I'm showing you, the pretest, the workbook, the full book with all the answers, all of that stuff at VIP level, okay? So one cool thing that I wanted to show, to share with you guys, because I literally just thought of it maybe 15 minutes ago, I'm like, I'm going to give you guys away some books. So if I can get you guys all the way to the end, not only will you have learned a ton of things that you never knew before, but I'm actually going to give away my Essential Oil Safety Files book to one of you here live that makes it all the way to the end. Okay? So you will win this live by the end. You will have this. I will mail this to you no matter where in the world you are. You will receive this signed copy of my book, Essential Oil Safety Files. Additionally, I am going to give away another book to anyone who enrolls as a member and another book to anyone who enrolls as a VIP. So out of anyone who enrolls as a member until enrollment closes tomorrow night, from that grouping, I will pull out one and send you my book. From the VIPs, I will pull out one and send you my book. And I have a special other surprise that I'm not even going to tell you about until the end. Okay? So, let's get started. I see there's a ton of you here, which is super exciting. Teresa and Raven and Desiree and Denise. Really excited. So let's get started. Okay, so I've never done the slides before, so hopefully this looks okay. Here we go. Perfect. That's beautiful. So one more thing is I'm not going to actually look at my phone right now. So if you have any questions, I will be answering those at the end. At the end. So write down any of your questions. I will not be able to scroll back through and look. So take some notes. Here we go. Alrighty, so this is week 1. So if you enroll in the course, this would be your week 1 for you guys. This is all you get here, free in the group. Aren't you excited that I actually let you guys have a sneak peek into the course? Super excited. Let me just close some of these things. So let's just welcome everyone who made it. Yay! I discovered I can actually do sound effects, so don't mind me. That was super exciting. All right, so let me just close out some of these things. Perfect. All right, so here we go. This is the Introduction to the Essential Oil Safely training course. Let's go ahead and perfect. So you are actually going to learn what makes an essential oil unique, the similarities and differences between them and carrier oils, herbal extracts, food flavorings or food extracts, and fragrance oils. This is a huge misconception. There's a huge misconception out there that they can all be used interchangeably. So we are going to actually dive into that and talk about that. You are also going to learn how essential oils are made, the different extraction methods, and why this matters, why it's important. You are going to learn if essential oils expire. You are going to learn how to make them last longer. And a super important thing, you are going to learn about constituents, why they are so important, and what we can do with that information. So super important here. So we are going to get to that. So let's get started. The first section we are going to talk about is what they are and what they are not. So what essential oils are is they are highly concentrated. They are oil-soluble constituents or components of plant matter. So for those of you that were here for my pre-test, that's the fill in the blank. They're oil-soluble constituents of plant matter. And they are hundreds of times more potent than the plant itself. So it's not olive oil. I'm getting ahead of myself. They're hundreds of times more potent than the plant itself. Now, it's been said that 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is as concentrated as dozens of cups of herbal tea and hundreds of pounds of peppermint leaves. Just to put that into perspective, a single drop of peppermint essential oil, when you put that in your food, in your water, in your mouth, it's just like consuming dozens of cups of tea or hundreds of pounds of peppermint leaves. Just not something we normally would do, right? Very concentrated. Carrier oils, on the other hand, they are a fatty oil. They have a thick viscosity. So we're talking olive oil, almond oil, coconut oil. And they are the perfect choice for diluting essential oils for topical applications. So these are the things you want to look for when diluting essential oils. Herbal oils are a little bit different. They are an infusion of herbs into the base carrier. So just like this picture shows, you are going to put plant matter, whether that's flowers, leaves, whatever sort of plant matter that is in, the point of your purpose for infusing an herbal oil into a base oil. Olive oil is super common for that base oil. And I know a lot of you are herbalists in here and you have done this yourself. And by doing this, it actually can end up containing, that herbal oil can end up containing a low dilution of essential oils, generally going to be less than 1%. So it will have that therapeutic value without being potentially dangerous or having any sort of adverse reactions because you have the whole plant in there. They can also be used to dilute essential oils. This is super exciting. And I can't even get to it because it's way, way, way jumping ahead. But herbal oils can also be used to dilute essential oils, and it can actually enhance the therapeutic properties much better than your regular carrier oil. Yes, and they're more therapeutic than carrier oils. Yes, I love my herbal oils. They are absolutely amazing. And those of you that are in the club, you know exactly my favorite one to use and why. Now, food flavorings or food extracts, they are an infusion of plant matter in a base of alcohol. They are intended for consumption, and they often contain sweeteners and artificial flavors. So as you can see here, totally different than the essential oils, right? Completely different method of creation and completely different method of intention. Now, fragrance oils are chemical-based. They are for aroma only. There's no therapeutic benefit other than if you love the smell, it's going to make you go, this is amazing. But there's no healing properties to it. And they can be a source of allergies and sensitivities. I know a lot of you are here and you've used essential oils because the fragrance oils are so bad for you and you've reacted. And they can be found in dryer sheets, candles, personal care products. That is what fragrance oils are. Now, I'm going to open this up to a short Q&A. I wasn't really intending to specifically. This is more for the paid group on Thursday, but I'm actually going to look through the comments quickly, and I'm not going to spend 30 minutes here, but I'm just going to see if you guys had any specific questions that I can clarify. They're more potent than the plant because of the concentration and the extraction, which we will get to in a moment. Perfect. So not really any questions. Yeah, preferably hold them to the end. I forgot I had this in here. So we'll just ignore that and proceed. Yay. How are essential oils made? So let's talk about that. So they aren't just running down the street. They aren't just in the forest in puddles. They aren't just laying there already created, just ready for us to scoop up, right? This is not essential oil, as everyone can probably notice. This is probably motor oil in the street, but it makes my point very well, right? So essential oils are actually made from different parts of plants, whether it's the whole plant, or whether it's cones, or needles, or berries, or leaves, or petals, or resin, or seeds, or sticks, or brain fart, roots. They are made of various plant parts. And those plant parts, depending on the quality, and we will get to that as well, those turn into your essential oils. Now, how does that happen? How do those plant parts turn into essential oils? So let's start at the beginning, before the plants are even there and before they're even created. So as they are grown, we have several different factors that affect the quality of the plant itself and while it's growing. So we have climate, whether it's super hot, whether it's dry, whether it's moist. We have elevation, we have temperature, we have the quality of the soil itself. We have the amount of rainfall. All of these things affect plants while they're growing. And some of you that are gardeners understand this. If you have very heavy rains that kind of drown your plants, you're not going to get great plant quality. If you have a very dry season, your plants are not going to grow very well, right? And that affects the quality of your tomatoes. It affects the quality of your strawberries. It affects the growing speed of plants. All of these things, while the plants are growing, are affected by these various conditions. Other conditions, after they've grown, that affect the quality of the essential oil is during harvesting. So if it's gathered too soon, too late, the temperatures when it's gathered. I know sometimes flowers open in the morning, right? So those of you who are gardeners and you cultivate plants, you know the timing of harvesting is super important and can actually affect the quality of your carrots, of your lettuce. All of these factors come into play, as well as how long it sits outside. So I don't know if you can tell here from the photo, but this is lavender, and after it's gathered, after it's kind of like chopped down at the base of the plant and left there for someone else to gather, it's kind of sitting there a while. Now, what would be the difference if it sat there 10 minutes or 10 days? Huge difference, right? I mean, what happened if you went to your rose bush and started, cutting roses off and threw them on the ground and let them sit there for a length of time or at all? Like, that's going to affect the quality of your roses, right? Now, we're going to talk about extraction methods, and I don't mean teeth extraction. So fear not. We're going to talk about essential oil extraction methods, one of which is steam distillation. Now, the steam distillation is a process of the steam affecting the plant matter for a determined amount of time, under a specific pressure and at a certain temperature to release the oils from the plant. So timing is key. Some of you, I know, have actually distilled your own plants. You've made your own hydrosols, you've made your own essential oils, and you know the amount of time that you have this process done affects the quality of your essential oil. It affects the aroma, it affects the therapeutic properties. You need a specific pressure. It matters. So all of these things that I've been talking about over the last 10 minutes, all of these things affect the end result of the plant. Certain time, pressure, temperature, all of these will affect how much essential oil you have, the aroma of the essential oil, and the quality of the essential oil. But steam distillation is one of the methods of extraction, and it is the most common one. So those of you who were here earlier for the pretest, steam distillation is the most common one. CO2 extraction is similar to steam distillation, except liquid CO2 is used instead of water. And it combines with the plant matter, turns back into a gas, and then it leaves the plant matter and the essential oil behind. Now, this provides a more pleasant aroma because it's a more delicate way of extracting, but it can also shorten the shelf life. And we don't really know why yet, but we have been able to tell that for some reason the short life is slightly less. Not sure why that is yet. Cold pressing is when you mash citrus rinds, which separates the oil from the pulpy water. And this is something that is done to a lot of citrus essential oils. And the key here to remember with cold pressing is because of the pesticides that are sprayed on the rinds of your lemons, your oranges, your limes, your bergamot. This is a reason to choose organic. So if you have a budget, like we all have budgets, right? So if you have a budget and you are trying to decide which essential oils to go organic, which essential oils to not worry about, these would be the ones, because pesticides do not distill over during steam distillation, CO2 extraction, all of that. But during cold pressing, where the rinds are literally in that water and the essential oil is floating on the top of that pulpy water, you are actually getting the pesticides directly in your essential oil. So a good reason to choose organic for your citrus essential oils that are cold pressed. There are options for steam distilled essential oils, citrus essential oils, and that will not have the same issue. Solvent extraction is another way that we get essential oils. And this is when plant material, typically they choose the delicate flower petals, so jasmine and rose. Plant material is mixed with a solvent. Now, these days in modern times, this is not so much of a worry as far as there's only trace amounts that remain now in our modern processing. But it used to be that solvent extracted essential oils, otherwise known as absolutes, should be avoided during pregnancy with kids and all of that because of the amount of solvent left behind was much higher. They've actually gotten a lot better at it now, so that is no longer a concern. But you may have actually noticed that a lot of the absolutes are actually, they have a very low topical max. So just something to consider. Now, this does cause the aroma to be less, and it causes the quality to go down as well, as far as the purity of the end result. And purists do not consider absolutes essential oils at all. So we talked about all of the different plant parts that can be used in the processing of essential oils, and the quality that is reflected in the growing and the harvesting and all of that. Another thing that can affect the quality is the extraction method, and we just talked about a few of those. The temperature that it's extracted at, the length of time it's extracted at, the pressure it's extracted at, and then how it's stored. So essential oils can be stored in 55-gallon drums. Very, very common. Now, what is that essential oil? What does that 55-gallon drum look like? Does it look like this in the middle of the Middle East, where they may not have the luxury of high-quality drums? Or does it look like the drums on the right, that may be a little bit higher quality, where somebody's paying a little bit more attention, where they may be cleaned regularly, where they may be replaced regularly, and perhaps even stored in a proper temperature? So temperature is a key factor. So if it's sitting out in the hot blazing sun in that 55-gallon drum, that's going to affect the quality of the essential oil, and the length of time that it's sitting there also. Both of these things, the length of time, whether it's minutes or days or whether it's months, all of these affect the quality of the essential oil, and this is just at the storage stage. So after the essential oils are processed, after they're harvested and grown and all of that, and after they're stored and gathered, then they are ready to go from the distiller to all over the world. And you'd be surprised, but there are very, very few distillers for the majority of the essential oils. Some of the more common essential oils like lavender, you're going to find lots of sources for that. So the distiller has the final product, and they fly them around to various companies. And then from various companies that are generally going to be wholesalers, they go from companies, and then they go, why is it here? Oh, okay, I know where I was getting. So once the company has the essential oil, whether it's wholesalers or the company that's going to end up selling them or not, then we have another step. We have whatever the company is going to do to those essential oils. So as you can see, up until this point, there's a zillion steps here and a zillion places where the quality can be affected. So at this point, the wholesalers or the companies can blend the essential oil with other essential oils, and that's where you get your anti-germ blends and your calming blends and your sleep blends and all of that. So essential oil companies have chosen to blend essential oils together and sell them as a blend. They can also alter the essential oil. They can enhance the essential oil, and they're going to bottle them and they're going to label them. So after it goes to the distiller, it goes to the companies or the wholesalers, and then there's another set of interactions that can happen with those essential oils. Then they are taken from the various companies and wholesalers into maybe the smaller companies and the online wholesalers and the big name online stores and the health food stores and all the places that you have your personal interaction, whether it's purchasing online or physically going to a store, and where you can then buy your essential oils. So wow, right? Like, that's a lot of steps. That's a lot of steps from in the ground until you actually get your essential oil. And then you purchase it, whether it's in the store, whether it's online, and then it's finally in your home. But it doesn't end there, because the next step is, how are you going to store them? How are you going to store them? Because that also affects the quality of your essential oils. So, does anybody have any quick questions on that section before I proceed? And you can absolutely ask questions at the end as well. Okay, perfect. So I'm actually not seeing any questions. Great, so we can move right along. Perfect. Now the next section is all about, do essential oils last forever? Do they last forever? Because I've heard some people think that they do. I'm just checking the time here. Good, we are on a good schedule here. Excellent. So you may have been told that essential oils never expire to justify a high price tag. How many of you have bought an essential oil and it's been like $80, $90, I've seen $140, and you're like, well, at least it will last me the rest of my life and I don't have to worry about it going bad, right? How many of you have bought into that? So the truth is, essential oils do in fact have a shelf life regardless of brand. Because essential oils are volatile, that means they evaporate, that's why we can smell them, they have the potential to oxidize. So let's talk about exactly what that means. Chemically speaking, volatile substances like essential oils evaporate. This is why we can smell them. I guess I got a little ahead of myself. And how they work. Essential oils are made up of a variety of constituents, kind of a big word, but that's what they're called, or you can call them chemical compounds, which collectively make what we call an essential oil. The lighter constituents, which are often referred to as top notes, are the most volatile and they will evaporate first. The heavier constituents, which are referred to as base notes, they will be the last ones to leave the bottle. And let me explain this a little bit differently. Next slide. So these top notes are often the ones that are actually the more gentle for the skin. So when they leave the bottle, the risk for that essential oil to cause redness, irritation, or sensitization increases. So let's talk about what makes them go bad. What could make an essential oil go bad? So we talked about all the steps of growing and harvesting and bottling and all of that and all of the different steps and all of the variables along the way. So once you have them in your home and you have the control over the shelf life, let's talk about what things you can do to either make them go bad faster or extend the shelf life. So let's talk about what makes them go bad. Oxygen that gets into your essential oil bottle can cause what's called oxidation. So seeing this picture here of this essential oil bottle with no lid in sight kind of makes me a little uneasy. I can kind of feel my anxiety raise slightly because I'm like, oh my gosh, the essential oil's oxidizing. Like you need to open the lid and use it and close the lid as fast as possible to lessen the chances of oxygen getting into the bottle. Because what happens is that reduces the therapeutic properties and it increases the adverse reactions like sensitization. Heat is another thing that can make your essential oils go bad. Heat causes the more volatile constituents to evaporate more quickly. Now, this is a bad thing. Like if you are storing them in a hot car, don't recommend it. The heat will cause those essential oils to go bad more quickly. Do not put them, in any warm place near your oven or anything. That can cause those little tiny constituents to evaporate more quickly and cause oxidation. However, if you use it in a steam bath, it's okay. And what makes it okay? Because you're using it, you're experiencing it. It's okay to add them to a bath with Carrier, with Epsom salts properly. Let's not get into that, but there's a safe way to use them in the bath. And it's okay because they're evaporating from that heat and you're smelling it and it's relaxing you. So that is okay. Candle burners, that is okay. But that's another module. All right, another thing that can make your essential oils go bad is UV light. UV light promotes free radicals. Cobalt blue bottles, not cool. Not cool. The UV light goes right through those bottles as if it was clear glass, and it is not protective of your essential oil. Now, this made me super, super sad when I first found this out because I love cobalt blue bottles. I think they're so beautiful. So there's other ways around that. If you have your blue bottles, it's okay. I have tips and tricks for you. But just so you know, you might as well have a clear bottle because UV light doesn't see it, goes right through it. Amber bottles, on the other hand, are the best, most protective colored bottles for protecting your essential oils. So just to recap, the 3 things that can shorten the shelf life of your essential oils are oxygen, heat, and light. So if you have lined your essential oil bottles up along your windowsill and that light is coming through every single day and it looks beautiful on your wall, you might want to take them down. It's going to shorten the shelf life of your essential oils. It affects the chemical composition of essential oils, which in turn affects the shelf life. Other things you can do that shorten shelf life are going to be things like opening the jar frequently, leaving the caps off for a length of time, placing in sunlight or artificial light, keeping in a warm place, or getting water or other things in the essential oil bottles. All of these contribute to the shelf life of your essential oils. So here's just a few little things, and those of you who have VIP access, you get the full boat. I have more listed here, but here's just a few ideas just to show you the variances on the shelf life of essential oils. So as you can see here, cedarwood has a shelf life of approximately 6 years, frankincense 2 years, patchouli 10 plus years. So essential oils do not have the same shelf life. It's not 60 days and it's over. It's not 10 years and it's over. Depending on the chemical composition, some will actually go bad faster. And that makes sense with food, right? Have you noticed that your carrots can stay in your refrigerator if you ignore them like for weeks without really having an issue? But once you open that cream cheese, it's going to mold in a couple weeks, right? So just like with food, essential oils, depending on what they're made up of, they have varying shelf life. So how can you tell if they've gone bad? Some of you are probably like, oh my gosh, I've had my frankincense for 10 years. How do I know if it's bad? So there are some ways that you can tell if your essential oils have gone bad without sending them to a chemist. Now, they don't have a distillation date, most of them. Honestly, I only know of one company, and I could be completely wrong because companies crop up all the time. I only know of one company that, at least as of several years ago, actually has the distillation date. The distillation date, like that's super important, right? Right on their bottle. So we talked about growing and harvesting and distilling, like all of that stuff. So that date can be very important because once it's distilled and bottled, like that's really the date that we should be going by. But I'm telling you, it's really hard to find that date. Super, super hard. So the easiest thing maybe is just to keep track of when you purchased it. That is the best ballpark that you can get because good luck trying to call companies. A lot of them don't even know where they got their essential oils. They don't want to reveal their wholesaler. The wholesaler doesn't want to reveal the distiller. Like there's a long chain to get back to, you know, those people that are distilling and try to figure out when that was. So keep track of when you purchased it. That's going to be the best way. So again, flies from the distiller, who knows how many days, weeks, or months till it reaches your home. So 2 ways that we can find out and try to figure out if they've gone bad. One of them is the aroma and the other is adverse reactions. So let's talk about aroma first because it's hopefully the easier one, although slightly complicated. But if you make yourself familiar with the aroma of the essential oil when it's fresh, you will actually begin to notice when it smells off once it has oxidized. A change in smell can alert you that it may not be safe for topical applications. Once oxidized, the potential for the essential oil to cause adverse reactions, such as redness, irritation, and itching, increases even when diluted. So let me tell you a quick story about my grandmother. Some of you may have heard this before. So my grandmother had nail fungus, and my mom was trying to treat it with tea tree essential oil. And this had worked for a period of time. It was doing great. And then one day my mom calls me and she's like, Leah, like, I don't know what's going on, but her skin is like starting to turn red and get a little bumpy. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you use? She said she used tea tree essential oil. She even diluted it. And I'm like, that's really strange. Like, you're doing the right things. And I'm like, Mom, how long have you had that tea tree essential oil? Come to find out, she'd had that for like 8 or so years. And I'm like, okay, you need to throw that away. You need to get some fresh tea tree essential oil. So even if you properly dilute the essential oil and if you are still reacting, that could be a clue that your essential oil has oxidized and you need to replace it. So if this starts happening to you for whatever reason, if you get redness or irritation or itching or anything for any reason, even if it's fresh, even if you've diluted it for whatever reason, stop using the essential oil topically. It's very, very important that you do not ignore it. So for those of you who may have gluten intolerance, you know if you keep eating the gluten, you are going to react and it's going to get worse and worse. You also know if you lay off it for a couple of years and you slowly introduce it again, if that's your choice, I know a lot of people, once they're off, that you don't react as much sometimes for some people. So the key here to remember is stop immediately, don't ignore it, don't keep pushing it, because continuing to use the oxidized essential oil in this way will greatly increase your risk for sensitization. And that means you are not going to be able to use that essential oil at all. Some of you may even react to inhalation. I had a friend, Sherry, who dropped a bottle of lemongrass on her kitchen tile floor. A bottle of lemongrass. It was a 15 ml bottle, I believe, and it broke, full bottle right on her floor. So of course she's trying to wipe it up before her dogs get involved and get all in it and smell it and everything. And guess what happened? She, because of the exposure, even though she opened her windows and tried to do everything possible, she got sensitized because of the over inhalation of that essential oil. Now, lemongrass, as some of you know, has a low topical max, 0.7% topical max. And she wore gloves and it didn't get on her skin. But that over inhalation of that essential oil caused her to where even if it was in a blend, she could pick that out and she couldn't use it. She became sensitized to that. So you have to be super, super careful. So oxidized essential oils are not recommended for use on the skin, but they can be used for cleaning. So be sure that you use gloves when you, be sure you wear gloves when you use the essential oils in your cleaning recipes. It is probably best to avoid diffusing them in case of mucous membrane irritation. But some of you, I know, diffuse your oxidized essential oils and you don't have that issue. Depending on the essential oil, you may have that issue, just something to keep in mind. They're not going to be very therapeutic, so the recommendation is to use them for cleaning. Now, if you want your essential oils to last longer, keep them closed tightly when not in use, keep them away from light, and store them in a cool place like a refrigerator. This one tip can make that very expensive bottle of frankincense last long enough that you are going to use it all up before it goes bad. So write that down, star it, highlight it, underline it, everything you have to do, because this is super important. So does anyone have any quick questions about that section? Yes, perfect. So tea tree is generally, a shelf life of tea tree is generally 2 years. Yes, refrigerator, shelf life be good. So I probably answered this already. A lot of companies do not put date labels on their bottles. Yes, it does matter. So if you have it sealed without opening it, that is huge. So for example, if you purchased a bottle of frankincense and you haven't opened it in 2 years, even though the shelf life is 2 years, you could probably open that and use it and it not cause any problems. I probably wouldn't use it past maybe 6 months to a year, depending. If you refrigerated it, it's probably going to extend that at least a year or more. Oh, wow. That's taking it very seriously. Debbie saying, would shelf life be extended if we place the amber bottles in a mason jar and then vacuum seal the mason jar till the oil is needed again? Well, that's certainly not going to hurt it. That's for sure. Alrighty. Yeah, cobalt blue. Yeah, green is better than blue, but it's not as good as amber. And what you can do, guys, is just store them in a cool place, store them out of, in your cabinet, wrap a label around it. Like, there are ways around it. Just be mindful of these things, okay? No, you don't have to use them at room temp, RJ. You can absolutely go ahead and use them cold. You can even freeze them, by the way. You can actually freeze essential oils and it will not harm it. Now, some peppermints, the menthol will actually crystallize a bit, and that is completely normal. But you can actually freeze essential oils. Just be careful with your bottles because that may be a thing. But the essential oils themselves, they love the cold. Perfect. Okay, moving right along. So, let's talk about what essential oils really are. So they are made up of constituents. Just checking the time, we're doing great. Essential oils are made up of constituents. Constituents. Get used to that word because I'm going to be saying that a lot. So constituents are the oil-soluble components created during the extraction process of essential oils. What essential oils are made of when broken down molecularly. So if you threw them under a microscope and you looked at them, this is what they'd look like, right? Something like that anyway. I told you there'd be cake. I told you. If you came to the pre-test, I told you there'd be cake. So here is the cake. And here is what the point of this is, right? So you tell me what this is. This is cake, right? I think everyone would agree. Who agrees with me that this is cake? It's not a trick question, okay? This is cake. Clearly, you can see it's cake. However, what it really is flour and sugar and eggs and vanilla extract and whatever else you put in your cake, right? Right? That's what it really is. So that's just like essential oils. This is what we think of as essential oils. This is what they really are. They're made up of constituents. And I don't know if I talked about this. I don't think I did, but this is something I thought about adding. Think about the quality. Did I talk about this? Is this in my slides? I don't actually know yet because I'm not skipping ahead. But this may be a repeat in case I did slide this in there after. But let's think about the quality of the flour. There's a huge difference between almond flour, wheat flour, white flour. There's a difference between flour that has maggots in it, flour that is fresh. There's brown sugar and sucanat and honey and molasses and white sugar. And there's sugar that is crystallized. And there's sugar that has ants in it. Like the time that I took my maple syrup and I poured it on my pancakes and there were ants all in it. True story. Then we have eggs. We have fresh farm eggs. We have fresh store-bought eggs. We have farm-raised and we have cage-free. And we have spoiled, bad, stinky eggs. Right? We have vanilla extract. Maybe it's arsenic. Maybe it's vitamin A. Maybe who knows what it is, right? So think about all of the quality of ingredients. As some of you pay attention to your ingredients just as much as you pay attention to your essential oils, and you know that the quality matters. Same with essential oils. So essential oils are made up of constituents such as the linalool that's in lavender and the menthol that's in peppermint. Now, this is super important. That's why it's big. That's why it's bold. That's why it's italicized and underlined and all of that, because I wanted you guys to understand knowing the constituents' individual therapeutic properties, benefits, and safety concerns can help us determine the safety of the essential oil as a whole. I'm going to repeat that. Knowing the constituents' individual therapeutic properties, benefits, and safety concerns can help us determine the safety of the essential oil as a whole. Think about that cake. If you made it with bad eggs, wouldn't be that great, right? What if you put motor oil in there instead of butter? It would be completely different, right? What if you put peppermint extract in there? It would taste a lot different than if you just put vanilla in there, right? So the ingredients you are using in your cake, just like the constituents that are inside the essential oils, helps us determine the benefits, the therapeutic properties, safety concerns, and the safety of the essential oil as a whole. Super important. Okay, so I did put this slide in. I completely forgot. So just to recap of what I said before, think about what kind of flour, sweetener, how fresh are the eggs, what sort of flavorings, poisons, bugs, powdered vitamins. Like, there's so much that goes into a cake that can reflect the taste, that can reflect the satisfaction of being full or it just being delicious or not. Who is going to eat it, if it's safe for your family, safe for your pets, safe for the garbage can. Like, all of this is super, super important. So let's talk about this point here. This can explain why essential oils have multiple benefits. They often contain dozens and sometimes hundreds of constituents. So think about your smoothie when you're adding radishes and carrots and kale and all of this stuff. You're adding vitamin C and A and D and E and all of this stuff, right? So the more goodness you can pack into that, the more benefits it's going to have. It's going to help with your immune system. It's going to help with your eyesight. It's going to help with all of these things based on what you've put in there. Same thing with essential oils. Multiple benefits. Scientists and researchers have actually given these constituents their own names, like the linalool and like the menthol, and they've attributed various therapeutic properties and safety concerns to them based on their actions. Oh, I was supposed to do this. Here we go. Therapeutic properties, safety concerns based on their actions. Super important. So from this information, we can learn what essential oils are best used in specific situations. So let's talk about a couple of those constituents that have caution and just why that is. Some essential oils must be used with caution or avoided because they contain certain constituents. So let's talk about a few concerning constituents and the safety concerns. Menthol is one constituent that's found in peppermint in high amounts. It's also found in cornmeal, but peppermint is the primary one. And what menthol can do is mimic the cold receptors in the lungs. And what that can cause is labored breathing, slowed respiration, especially in children under the age of 6 and also the elderly. But it gives you a feeling of being unable to breathe with kids that are generally under the age of 6 years old. Do you remember the first time that you put a peppermint in your mouth? Do you remember the first time, like, just how strong that was? Or maybe you had a candy cane and you're like, whoo! I remember my son, he's like, oh, that's spicy. Like, that's the only word he can think of to equate just that pungent in his mouth. So imagine that feeling, in their little chests and feeling like they can't breathe because it feels cold and icy. Now, this can be a great thing when we're talking about muscle aches and pains as an adult, but when they're breathing that in, it can actually cause some issues. So highly recommend avoiding using peppermint. Yes, that means diffused. Any sort of exposure where they are breathing peppermint under the age of 6 is not recommended. Just don't risk it. Now, a few other constituents which are concerning: estragol, methyl-eugenol, and safrole, which are in significant amounts in ravinsara, camphor, myrtle, and nutmeg. High amounts are potentially carcinogenic. Yes. Not a scare tactic, not a joke. Just like if you added motor oil or arsenic or some crazy thing to your cake, not going to be cool. So these essential oils that have high amounts of these constituents should be avoided by everyone. Just don't risk it. There's plenty of essential oils out there. There's no need to use risky essential oils. You don't need motor oil when you have coconut oil, right? Furanocoumarins are another constituent which can be a concern because they are phototoxic. So furanocoumarins are found in essential oils like lime and lemon, bergamot, and grapefruit. And there's a way around this too. You can properly dilute. You can use steam distilled instead of cold pressed, but your typical regular lemon, lime, bergamot, grapefruit, these are all going to cause phototoxicity when applied to the skin and exposed to UV light. So another concern. Not saying you have to avoid it, just saying it's a concern. It's something to think about. So based on these constituents and many others, we know which essential oils have risks. Some essential oils only affect certain groups of people, such as pregnant women, young children, people taking medications, and some essential oils can affect everyone, which is why it's not wise to diffuse essential oils in public spaces, because you just don't know who's going to react, who is allergic, who is on medications, who is pregnant, and all of that. So here is just a note, but not that kind of note. Let's talk about notes when it relates to essential oils and constituents. So constituents have a molecular size and weight. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't care. But think about it. So the top notes are the smaller, lighter constituents. These are primarily found in citrus and florals. These generally make you feel happy and uplifted, sometimes energizing. So they're like the little yellow balloons that are coming out of your bottle when you open it. They're the tiniest ones, but they're the happiest, cheeriest ones, and they're the ones that hit your nose very first thing. And then we have the base notes, which are the larger, heavier sized constituents. And they are the more grounding essential oils like sandalwood. And they're grounding, they make you feel relaxed, they're usually sedative. And these are the ones that they're the last ones to come out of the bottle when you're inhaling that mixture of constituents that you want to call lemon or sandalwood or lavender essential oil. And then, that messed up. Oh no! There's another slide in here. It's supposed to be blue balloons and they're supposed to be medium size and it's supposed to say middle notes and it's supposed to say all the rest of them. Okay, well, I'm going to have to make a note. Okay, what happened? Okay, top notes, base notes, middle notes. Okay, I must have skipped ahead or something weird. I don't know what happened. There you go. Okay, the middle notes are all the ones in between. So your essential oil is going to be a mixture of yellow balloons, blue balloons, and red balloons. So here is a blending tip. Now that you know that. Because essential oils with a lot of base notes can overpower the top notes, if you are looking for a more balanced aroma, you want to add more top notes when you make your blend. For example, 40 drops of top notes, 35 drops of middle notes, 25 drops of base notes, which gives you 100 drops, or a teaspoon, or 5 ml. So, but don't worry about it. Don't get caught up worrying about the notes. Don't worry about it if you're starting to feel completely overwhelmed. Because the number one priority when using and blending essential oils is choosing essential oils based on... Okay, are you guys listening? I'm looking at the comments now. Type something in. Tell me yes. type a 1, and I want to make sure everyone's listening and no one's going to miss this. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. The number one priority when using and blending essential oils is choosing essential oils based on... Do I have a drum roll? Darn it, I don't think I do. I don't have a drum roll. That's not a drum roll. That's not a drum roll. Let's try that one. That's pretty cool. Are you awake? Let's get going. Everyone wake up. Okay, let's go. Okay. All right. So, let's go back now that I see you guys are all awake. Okay, let's get moving. The number one priority when using and blending essential oils is choosing essential oils based on... Dun, dun, dun. I wish I had a drum roll of all the sounds. Of all the sounds, it's based on therapeutic properties. Yes. Yes. Therapeutic properties. That's what it's all based on. That is the key. That is the key to everything. Therapeutic properties. We choose the essential oils that we are going to use for whatever sort of situation based on its, not its smell, not its price, not its name, not how expensive the bottle was, not how many drops are left, not how long you've had it, but based on therapeutic properties. The number one priority when using and blending essential oils is choosing essential oils based on therapeutic properties. Yes, Shannon, I just got to make sure that everybody understands this because this is key. This is the key. Absolute the key. So you did it! You did it! You made it all the way to the end. I hope I held your attention. I'm so excited. This was so fun. I am so excited to do all of these modules like this. Oh my gosh. So you guys tell me, those of you that took the basics course from 2016 onward, where it was me in 2016 and the short little video clips and all of that, tell me this wasn't more fun. Tell me this was not more fun. Yes, Raven, safety is absolutely a consideration, but our very first step we're going to take is what essential oils will do the job. And then from there, we think about the other things. Oh, so much fun. Yay, we did it. I was waiting all day for this. I'm like, is it 7 yet? Is it 7? And that's why I jumped on earlier. And I'm like, I got to do the pre-test. I got to talk. I got to do something because this was so super exciting. So Milka said, I love the live version. Everyone's saying it's great. Woohoo, love this. Thank you, fun. Yay, I'm so excited. Fabulous, yay. So if you have any questions, Carol says, I like this format better. Me too. Me too. It was super fun coming up with all of these slides for you. Super fun. So it is now time for the Q&A. It's time for the Q&A. And as you are putting your questions in, to one of you who submits a question, you are actually going to win the Essential Oil Safety Files book that I have here signed and ready to ship anywhere in the world. I will ship it anywhere. And it's to one of you who asks a question, and I will draw randomly from somebody who asks a question. And you will win the book. And as I mentioned in the beginning, one of you will win it now, and then I'll have another one who signs up for the member level of the class. From the pool of people, one of you will win. From the pool of people who signs up as a VIP, one of you will win. Let me go ahead and reduce my screen really fast so that I can see your questions and your comments better. And I can click. Perfect. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm actually going to include the link here if anyone is interested in the course. Now that you've seen how cool and how fun it can be. Okay, this isn't right, so give me a second to edit it. And that's where you can find out more about the course. Now, this is specifically geared toward the MLMs because you guys have been asking me, you're like, Leah, my company does not tell me anything about safety. I need your help. Can you please teach me? I want to know safety. My company's no help. My company's great with marketing. My company's great with sales, but safety is something they're lacking. And so after I did this one time 2 years ago, and I'm like, okay, it's time. Like, it's just time. Everybody's asking for this. Fine, I'll do it now. And that's what I'm doing. So the course, if you follow that, you know what? Why don't I just share my screen with you really quickly? I'll do that in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and answer your questions first. So let me go ahead and get your questions up here. Let me do that first. So let me go ahead. So I'm going to scroll back until I see some questions. Okay. I'm not sure if I was the only one though. Live video kept cutting in and out for me. I'm so sorry. The replay, so after this is done, it will remain in the group for a few days, maybe a week. It's not going to be forever, but it will remain in the group. I'll probably throw a copy up on YouTube as well, perhaps. Otherwise, you have to get access to the course. Thank you. I learned a lot. You are welcome. See what I mean? I can't see names here. I'm so sorry. Great job. Thank you. Love the charts for spelling and understanding. Have to go. Great. Thanks. Thanks for joining. What about peppermint for kids? Avoid it under age 6. I see you have further MLM classes. Yeah. So the first, and we'll go over this in a few minutes, but the first 4 modules of this class, they're for everyone. They're for everyone. Anyone can join this class for the first 4 modules. Module 5 and 6 are specific, where I'm actually going over your company's single essential oils and I'm telling you the safety. I'm going over blends and I'm telling you the safety so that you know, so your customers can know, who it's safe for. And you will know what to tell them. And we're actually going to be cracking open all of your kits and going through those too, so that you can now use your kit and know what you're doing. As well as know which ones you may want to avoid if you have kids, etc. Where can we learn therapeutic properties? Stay tuned. You want to jump into the course. Do you mind sharing which company puts distillation dates on their bottles? As far as I know, the only one, and I could be wrong, is Aromatics International. Does wearing sunscreen protect against phototoxic effects? It's not reliable. No. Big prizes. Yes, Ashley. If you sign up, do not sign up yet. Pay attention. Do not sign up yet. Let's talk here. I want to answer your questions, and I have a code for you. So if you want to sign up and save $25 on either the member or the VIP level, wait for the code. I will tell you the code. And if you have to go now, I can tell you the code now, but I want to answer your questions. I have a young one at home under age 6. Are there any other essential oils I should avoid other than those that include menthol? Yes. So there are essential oils that contain 1,8-cineol. That'd be eucalyptus and rosemary. There are some. You can find some in the Learning Center. Do I have that link up here? You can find some in the Learning Center. Let me go ahead and edit this one out and add that for you. So you can go to the Learning Center. I'm going to make this one yellow because that's what oh, darn it. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. Don't care about the colors right now. You can go to the Learning Center and learn more about children, and even more is actually inside the club. But, actually I do have one for the club here. So these are all like the wrong colors. I wanted to do the MLM in blue, and then, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I'm trying to answer your questions. Yeah, so you can find those answers there as far as children. Do roller bottle recipes need to be refrigerated? Okay, great question. So here's the thing. If you have a recipe that you've created and you know the shelf life of the essential oils and you know the shelf life of the carrier, whatever that you're using, go by the shortest shelf life of all of the ingredients, and that's how long it's going to last. Typically, if you're making up a roller bottle, you're going to use it up that season, whether it's for bug bites or you're going to use it specifically for a scar, and you're going to use that up generally before the essential oils expire. So it is okay. The essential oils that you are currently using, I leave out my lemon and tea tree because I'm using them left and right in my cleaning supplies. So I buy 4-ounce bottles and I'm not worried about it. Likewise, if you have something you are actively using, whether it's a face serum or a pit paste or a roller bottle or whatever that you're actively using, you are most likely going to actually use that up within, say, 6 months to a year, and you're going to be cool. So you probably don't have to worry about that. How do you sign up? LeahJacobson.com/MLM, and I will walk you through the sales page in a moment so that you can understand a little bit more about it. Great job. Thank you. I was just going to ask this. Will this webinar be available to us to view again? Yes, for at least a few days, possibly up to a week. From your presentation, I have a bottle of oil that I forgot to put the top back on. Should I throw it away? It depends on a few factors. How long has the cap been off? What's the temperature been like? Did bugs crawl in? Which essential oil is it? What are the best essential oils for tummy pain in kids under 8 years old and above? You are going to find that in the club right here. You are going to find that right here in the club. All of your questions for what do I use for this, that, and the other, everything's in the club. If your pet doesn't seem to be bothered by the diffuser, could they still develop problems? Yes. Yes, they can, because they are actually not smart enough to leave the room. They're not smart enough to know what's best for them. I mean, think about a kid touching a hot stove. Think about a kid running after a ball in the street. They don't know. They're not smart enough to figure out what's right or what's wrong. And same with cats and dogs. Like they just don't know. You know, you're the human, you're the responsible party. So you need to make sure that you do not expose your pets to essential oils that could hurt them. And that's where a personal inhaler comes in. You can put the peppermint essential oil in here for your headache and not expose your 2-year-old. You can put essential oils in here that are not safe for your pets without exposing your pets. Just use a personal inhaler. And we go over that in the next module, module 2, about inhalation. Where can we learn therapeutic properties? We learn nothing about therapeutic properties with MLMs. Don't get me started. You can learn about that in the club, number 1, because I have living examples of recipes that are safe and effective that, guess what? They're chosen based off their therapeutic properties. So I practice what I preach, and that's exactly what I have in the club. You have all of the recipes for, oh my gosh, there's 250 recipes. We have personal care products. We have household products. We have 60 different health issues for various body systems, all in there made correctly because I know what I'm doing, and that's what I did. So on the jars that aren't amber, by putting them in a dark case or a box, would that help? Yes. Yes, it would. What exactly was the problem we came across with estragol, methyl-eugenol, and safrole is potentially carcinogenic. That is the issue. Potentially carcinogenic. Getting back to nail fungus, tea tree didn't work, but learned about oregano oil and followed your advice using a body lotion as a carrier. Your thoughts? Yes. So if tea tree doesn't work and you have to pull out the big guns and you have to use oregano, as long as you are properly diluting and all of the safety issues with oregano don't apply to you, then it can be safely used. So as for oregano, all of the safety issues are in here, right here. Anticoagulant, blah, 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 blah. Not safe for pregnancy, not safe for breastfeeding, 1.1% topical max, do not apply in kids under the age of 2. All of that is in here. And there's online versions and stuff too. You don't have to actually buy the physical copy. Internal use just doesn't seem right to me to put oils in water to consume. That will be module 4. So we are going to be talking about inhalation next week. We're going to be talking about topical use. We'll be talking about ingestion. And then we'll be talking about other things as well that are specific to MLMs. If someone wants to save unopened bottles as part of a prepper attitude, would extra sealing plus keeping in the freezer be the very best to save them long term? Yes. Yes, I want to know where to start. I want to know more. This was so informative. I'm so glad. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for you. This was so much fun for me. I'm like, I can't bottle this up. You guys need to know this, and you're just scratching the surface. You will be so smart. So smart. At the end of each module, you'll be so smart. Are there no safe edible essential oils? Correct. Essential oils are not intended for consumption. That's where your food flavorings come in. Yeah, exactly. So I answered that. I don't know how behind I am. How can we know if our oils are good quality? Should we be worried about being scammed? Yes. Yes, you should. And that's where GCMS reports come in, which I didn't have time to do today, but there's a lot of factors that are reflected, just like you saw. The quality of the plant, the length of distillation, the type of distillation, the harvesting, the growing. There's all of these steps along the way. And I guarantee you, if you call up and ask every essential oil company all of those steps, they're not going to have any idea. The distiller is probably not going to even keep track of all of that stuff. And that's where GCMS reports come in. And that's why I did third-party testing almost 8 years ago, because I decided you can't trust or even know just by looking on a website the quality, and GCMS reports are the way to go. So that's why we did third-party testing 3 times and found out that you can buy essential oils. You don't have to spend $90 for myrrh. You could actually buy the $15 bottle of myrrh, and it is just as good quality as the expensive ones. It was so great. I don't have a question. Does that count? Oh, that's a question, huh? Yes. Yes, it is. Let's see. What is good for tummy problems in teenagers at menstruation time? I have a recipe for you. It's in the recipes club. It's under reproductive, and it's the PMS blend. You said oils can be put in the freezer. Do they expand? They don't. Do our oils last longer after being diluted? Not necessarily. If you are using a carrier that has a shelf life of 6 to 12 months, no. If you have a carrier such as jojoba that lasts pretty much indefinitely, then it's not going to extend the shelf life of your essential oil, but at least it won't go bad sooner based on the carrier. How long do essential oils like ylang-ylang, lavender, and rose last? I have the shelf life in my essential oil profiles resources. So right here, this book here. So if you go to our library, which is leahjacobson.com/library, I am out of physical copies. I should probably get some in. I keep being asked for them. I just haven't taken the time. But you do have an online version and an ebook version where you can actually look up the safety, the therapeutic properties, the benefits, the shelf life, everything you need to know for the top 60 essential oils are right here. Great class. Thank you. I had so much fun. I don't want it to last, but I have to pick up my daughter in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. How long do essential oils? Oh, okay. So I just answered that. I know nothing about essential oils, but I'm excited to learn. Been listening to your podcast. Yeah. You know what? It just dawned on me like almost 2 weeks ago that I haven't even done a podcast in like 2 years. 2 years! Like, that is insane. But everything over there is completely valid, so listen, listen, listen. Is this the start of a series? Yes. And the continuation of which is going to be in the essential oil safety training for MLM reps, because they need it. They've been asking for it. They've been begging for it. So that's what they're going to get. I will do a non-MLM later, but if you can be nice and not cause drama and everybody can get along, unlike this morning here in the group, you are actually welcome to join. And the first 4 modules will be completely applicable to you. And in fact, module 5 and 6 that deals specifically with their brands and the safety and all of that are actually going to be super informative as well to you, just as a curiosity standpoint. And then also so you can be informative and share with your friends that may be in MLMs what you have actually learned. So it's going to be 4 main modules, and then modules 5 and 6 are going to be a little bit based on who's in an MLM that joins, how many MLMs we have, and then how many singles and blends and kits that we actually go through. I thought peppermint opened your airways. Yes, but in children, it can feel the opposite. It can kind of have the opposite effect. When you were talking about refrigerating oils and extending their shelf life, is it all oils across the board? Yes. Or do any oils not like refrigeration? How long will you say it extends them for? I would say it extends them at least 12 months. Okay, I'm going to snooze that. Once that goes off again, guys, I'm out of here. Okay? I'm out of here. When you were talking about, right, okay, so the ones that I would suggest leaving out would be the ones you're using all the time, like your tea tree and your lemon and your cleaning supplies, or the super thick ones that drive you crazy that don't come out of the bottle as it is at room temperature, like myrrh. Don't even get me started on myrrh. It's like, are you kidding me? I do not have time for this. I do not have time for this. If any of you out there actually make gadgets for essential oils, can you please make a gadget where you can put your essential oil bottle upside down and it holds it there at sort of an angle, and then it can drip out into something, because that would be really helpful, because I don't have time to sit there and go like this for like an hour. Super, super annoying. Which is where those little gadgets come in, where you can actually pull the stopper off and use a pipette and do it that way, because otherwise it drives you crazy. Yes, so transcripts will be available to any VIPers that enroll in the course. This is so fun. So you not only will have transcripts, you not only will be able to download the audio version and the video version, but you can search in the videos. So every place that I've said peppermint, or if there's a word that you remember where I talked about oregano or anything, you literally can go to the video, type the word oregano, and it will pull you right there with a transcript showing you exactly where and what I said, just like that. It is so dang cool. And those of you that are in the Recipes Club, you're already using it, because I already use it in there. It is so dang cool. And it'll actually pull through not just the video. You can go to the video and do just the video, but all of the modules. All of the modules. Okay, I'm seeing a message, but I don't know what it is. Maybe I should look at it. Yeah, I can't really. Sorry, I can't really see. Maybe it's important. I don't know. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to see this message quick, just to make sure really quickly here. So yeah, I would say that extends them for about that long. ... So as far as the transcript, yeah, so I will go over that in a moment. Let me just look at this thing. Okay, weird. Okay, so some of you, so the closed captioning is going over my slides. Sorry about that. I don't know what to do about that. Sorry, guys. I have 0% control over that. That is super annoying. Okay, so just a drop in a tablespoon. I'm not really sure what that refers to. Can we put oils in a dry, dark space away from the sun if we can't store them in the refrigerator? Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks. Plan to sign up. There's limited VIP spots, by the way. I only want 25 VIPs. So as of before this class, we only had 6 spots. So if we have more than 6, I'll honor it, but it's clamping down as soon as I'm done. So if you want in and you want to go over that 6, go for it. But I'm telling you, like I'm shutting it down after that, because I want to be able to give you guys a one-on-one attention and go through your kits and all of that. And I can't do that if there's like a zillion people in there. I might have missed this. Do carrier oils affect their expiration other than those diluted? Wait, I might have missed it. Do carrier oils affect their? Yes, other than those diluted with short life carrier oils. Not really sure if I understand, but if you have a carrier that's like 6-month expiration and you're combining it with essential oils that have 2, 6, 8, 10 years, the shelf life of your product is going to be the 6 months based on that carrier. The carrier isn't going to drag it down per se. It's not going to extend it, but you just want to go by whatever the shortest shelf life is of whichever of your products that you are mixing together. That is the shelf life of your product, because that oil, that carrier oil, will spoil and go bad before the essential oils. But it's the same like having spoiled eggs in your cake. It just contaminates the whole thing, right? Good question though, because this definitely comes up more than once. You are welcome. Very basic. What's the best way to get an oil off if one has put it on neat and it is burning? Use a carrier oil. Wipe it right on, wash it off with hot soapy water, apply a carrier oil on top. If I want to clean a kitchen surface, is water and essential oil enough, or is that for that, or should I add a carrier oil to that as well? You do not need to add a carrier oil unless you're adding it directly to your skin. And by the way, there's actually something better than water that you can use, and that's inside the club under recipes, under household, for cleaning. Can you benefit from the therapeutic properties through skin just as well as through inhalation? Which one is best? It depends on why you are inhaling or why you are using it topically, and I'll be going over all of that times 100 during next week during the inhalation module, and then module 3 for topical use. And you will know exactly, you will have a clear understanding of when to inhale and when to use topically. What is good for cleaning mold? Tea tree is amazing for mold. My apartment is air conditioned in summer and cool in winter. Will that help if I don't have room in the fridge to store them? Yeah, it should be fine. Great class, Leah. Have to go. It was fun. Happy dance. Thanks for joining. Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to have to come back on here after I get my daughter to finish these questions, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of questions here. Why are oils more potent than the plant? Not sure how it is extracted makes it more potent. Because so it takes tons. I probably should have had a visual for this, but it can take literal tons of plant matter to distill into one small bottle of essential oil. Well, I kind of talked about it with peppermint. So one single drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent of dozens of cups of the herbal tea or hundreds of pounds of the plant matter. Because if you take one peppermint leaf, I mean, there's like a percentage of a drop of essential oil in each leaf, right? Like a fraction. You need a whole bunch of leaves in order to actually get a single drop of essential oil. So that's why it's concentrated. Just like orange juice, really. Like you're getting if you eat an orange or if you drink a whole glass of orange juice, it's like drinking like 8 to 10 oranges or something. I don't know the math on that exactly. But it's just, that's why it's just like a lot of sugar in your system. It's great to eat the orange because you have the fiber, it's the whole plant, and you're getting the juice. Yes, you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you are consuming a whole full glass of orange juice, it has a lot more sugar without the fiber, and it can affect your blood sugar. So it's just a lot more concentrated when you are using the essential oil because it's pulling out the oils out of the plant. And like in the case of helichrysum, why that is so expensive, because there's very little oil in the helichrysum flowers. They need literal tons of helichrysum flowers in order to extract small amounts of oil, which is why it's so expensive. So yeah, I hope that helps answer your question. Thank you so much. I have to go. I'll sign up tonight. Awesome. Enrollment does end tomorrow night, by the way. VIPs could be gone already. I don't even know. I love this live so much. Hi from Costa Rica to all. I hope you will make more like this. Does the $25 savings code also go along with the 75% off too? No. So if you're in the club, you already get 75% off VIP, and you already get free access to the regular member level. So that is, you are getting 75% off is way more than the $25. Are there essential oils that don't need to be refrigerated? It kind of answered that question. Add lots of care. Yes. Okay. So people are, I am so far behind. Oh my gosh. The club would be leahjacobson.com/club. It was originally the Recipes Club. It's kind of like the Recipes Club Plus because I've dumped a ton of extra stuff in it, which you can read on that page. If you choose an essential oil based on therapeutic properties, and essential oils can have multiple benefits, how do we know which essential oils are best for our issue? Because of the percentage of the constituents that have the therapeutic properties that you need. Or to leave my oils in a darker container. Yes, that would be perfect for extending shelf life. I have many oils in a shelf. Should they be kept in a box? It's up to you. I mean, oxygen, heat, and light. So the best things you can do is keep it out of the light, keep them cool. So whatever you can do to do that will extend the shelf life of your essential oils. As far... I don't like that sound. I can go a few more minutes. What is the best carrier oil? So I actually went over this last week, actually, in the Recipes Club. We do a thing where the first week of the month we talk about an essential oil and we have a cheat sheet and we go over the safety and all that stuff. Second week is either carrier or hydrosol. Third week is a recipe, and fourth week is a bonus. And the fourth week bonus for January was actually all about carriers. So I shared my best carrier oils and why and all of that stuff right in there. They don't need to be, but it helps lengthen their shelf life. Okay, perfect. So you guys are answering these. If using a roller ball, don't pets and kids sitting on... Okay, so right. So you're saying if you are applying an essential oil topically and say it has peppermint because you're trying to help your achy muscles and your 4-year-old is sitting next to you, can that affect them? If they can smell it, yes, it can. So there's tricks around that. Basically, make sure you're doing it elsewhere. You put clothing over... dilutions, time elapsing, there's things that you can do, and there's also different essential oils you can use as well. The purchase of the VIP package lasts forever. You have forever access. So VIP level, I'm going to have to come back and answer the rest of these questions, and I'm going to have to walk you through that page and explain the differences. Is that your book? Where can we get that? In the library. If you have a cooler room or basement, that will work too. I need this book. I need all your books. So I do actually have, well, I was going to say I have a bundles page, but unfortunately I am actually out of stock of these prints. So that's not going to help you if you actually want the prints. But you can go to leahjacobson.com/bundle if you want that. I barely ever talk about that. I keep forgetting it even exists. Personal inhalers I use are from River Tree Life. I have an Amazon link I can share later, but just search for River Tree Life personal inhalers and they'll come up. I don't have the link handy. I can't bottle this up. For anyone considering the course, I have taken it and it's wonderful. Thank you, whoever you are. I appreciate it. What criteria to choose from? Any brand essential oils is okay if the brand can't show me GCMS report. So go to the Learning Center, which is the green link here, and click on the Brands tab, and it will show you more information as well as a checklist that you can use to actually go through and decide if it's a company that you want to actually support. Guys, the questions are crazy. Okay, I am actually going to take my phone and I'm going to randomly like scroll and just like tap on a question, and whoever you are, if I like your comment, I'm going to comment to it as well. And I'm going to tell you to PM me your address. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come back here. I have to pick up my daughter, unfortunately. But I will come back here, and wherever I left off on your comments, I will literally just go live again, and I will pull through your comments and answer you, as well as show you the course page and explain the difference between regular member and VIP if you need help with that, and answer all of your questions as long as it takes. Okay? So if you can give me like 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure, I may be a little bit sooner. It's a little slippery out there. I want to drive slow. It's only a few minutes away. Shouldn't be too long. Then that will be the thing. Okay, so I'm just like scrolling randomly here. And Joanne, you won. So Joanne, tagging you here. PM me your address. Okay, so there you go. Joanne Weihs. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Weihs. You have won a copy of this book. Okay, so, again, sign up for member. You can have a copy as well. Sign up for VIP. I'm going to pull everyone who signs up for member into one group, and I'll probably just pick it live. I'll do a spinner. Like, I'll put all of your names in and do a spinner for member and a spinner for VIP. And I'm going to do that, like, after tomorrow because enrollment closes tomorrow. So you will be notified. I know I might actually do it tomorrow. I'm not going to stay up till midnight to do it, but I'll do it sometime tomorrow night after I go live in the club, because we're actually talking about, what are we talking about? Ylang Ylang Essential Oil. It's a brand new month. We have a whole new thing, so it's super exciting. And I go live every Wednesday in the club, by the way. And so I'll have to do it sometime after that, probably 9 or 8:30 to 9 or something like that. I don't know. But I will do it tomorrow, and I will pick winners for those of you who enrolled in the classes. So I hope this has been fun. I'm going to end this now. This will be available for you guys to replay until I delete it. So review. By the way, slides will be available to VIPers. If you sign up, you'll have access to all of the slides. You will have access to the workbook that you can fill out to retain. You have access to the pretest. You have access to the book that comes from, the workbook with everything filled in. You'll have access to transcripts and audios, and all that is going to be absolutely freaking amazing. As well as some extra bonuses, actually, like the online version of this and the ebook version, the online version, the ebook version of this, carriers, hydrosols, pretty much everything in there. So I'm going to be back. I'm sorry, but I will be back, and then I will answer the rest of your questions, I promise, okay? I'll be right back.